you are already comfortable. Whatever position you are resting in right now, it is the right one. Your body is heavy and warm and still. Let your eyes close gently. There is nowhere you need to be. There is nothing you need to do. Tonight, you are simply going to rest and drift and listen. Imagine for a moment that you are sitting in a quiet train carriage. The hour is very late. The platform lights are already sliding away behind you. The city is beginning to let you go. Your seat is soft beneath you. The cushion is a faded, deep navy blue, worn smooth by many years of passengers, and it holds you gently, like something that has learned the shape of rest. You press your shoulder into the backrest and feel it yield just slightly to meet you. Your arms are loose on the armrests. Your hands are open, uncurled, resting easy. The window beside you is tall and dark. The glass is cool. If you lean close, you can see the faint reflection of the carriage in it, a ghost of warm light floating in the dark. Outside, the city is still there, but it is moving away. Slowly, slowly, it is letting you go. The train hums. It is a low, steady hum, felt more in your chest than heard with your ears. It travels up through the seat and into your spine, into your shoulders, into the soft place at the back of your neck. It is not a sound that asks anything of you. It is simply there, constant, like a long, slow breath the train is taking on your behalf. Take a breath yourself now, a slow one. Draw the air in gently and let your chest rise, and then let it fall again. There is no rush. The train carries you forward without any effort from you at all. Outside the window, the city lights are many. They press together in the dark like scattered embers. Office buildings rise up with their pale yellow squares of lit windows, floor after floor after floor, each one holding some quiet story of its own. But those stories are not yours tonight. Tonight, you are only watching softly, the way you might watch a fire from across a warm room. A signal light blinks red, then green. A street below the elevated track curves away into shadow. There are headlights moving in slow rivers along wide roads, each one tracing its own small path home. Everything out there is slow and amber and distant, and you are moving through it all without stopping, without being asked to stop. The carriage rocks a little, side to side. It is a gentle rocking, like a cradle, like a boat on still water. You feel it in your hips and your shoulders, a small, rhythmic sway. Left and right, very soft, very slow. It asks you to soften too, and you do, without even deciding to. There are only a few other passengers in the carriage. You are aware of them without looking at them. Someone further down is already asleep, their head resting against the glass. Someone else is reading, their light casting a small warm circle that does not reach you. No one is talking. No one needs anything from you. The carriage holds all of you in its quiet, rocking dark and carries you on. The train slows for a moment, gliding into a station. The platform slides past the window in a blur of white light and empty benches. No one gets on here. No one gets off. The doors open with a soft chime, hold for a breath, and close again. The train sighs back into motion. The station falls away behind you. You breathe again, long and slow, in and out. The hum is still there, steady beneath everything. The rocking is still there. The dark city is still there beyond the glass, though it is a little quieter now, a little more spread out. The clusters of light are thinning. The buildings are shorter. The spaces between them are wider. You feel it in a soft, almost wordless way. The city is loosening its hold. The streets below the track are fewer. The signs and the signals are spaced further apart. The glow in the sky is fading from amber to a deeper, bluer dark. You are moving toward the edge of things, toward the place where the city releases its breath and lets the dark come in. Your eyelids are heavy, not unpleasantly so. It is the pleasant heaviness of a body that has done enough today and now is allowed to set everything down. You feel it especially around your eyes, in the softness behind them, in the way the world through the window has begun to blur very slightly at the edges, not from the speed of the train, but from the slow, willing blur of someone beginning to drift. Let that happen. There is nothing to see that requires your sharp attention. Only the dark and the drifting lights and the hum that carries you forward. The train passes over a bridge. Below, barely visible, is a wide river moving silently in its dark bed. The water catches the last few city lights and holds them in long, trembling lines of gold. Then the bridge is behind you, and the river is gone, and the dark comes closer on both sides. You can feel the change in the air, even inside the sealed carriage. Something has shifted. The quality of the dark outside has deepened. The lights of the city are now only a pale suggestion behind you, a haze on the horizon, dissolving in front of you, and on either side, the dark is open and clean and very still. A few small lights appear in the distance. A farmhouse, perhaps, sitting alone in its field. A single orange window, warm against the immense dark around it. You watch it as it comes and then passes and fades, and it is like watching a single candle flame from across a very wide room. It warms something in you, the way small, solitary lights do at night. Then it is gone, and the dark is complete again. Your breathing has slowed without you asking it to. In and out, each breath a little softer, a little longer. Your body is heavy in the seat. Your legs are relaxed, your feet resting easy on the floor. Your jaw is loose. The tiny muscles around your eyes have let go. You are doing nothing at all, and it feels exactly right. The train moves on. The hum continues. The rocking continues. A fine, gray mist has gathered at the edges of the fields outside, low to the ground, barely visible but there. A softening of the world's edges. The night is very clear above, And if you press your forehead lightly to the glass, you might see the faintest scattering of stars, far up and very still. But there is no need to press your forehead to the glass. You can simply rest here in the warmth and the quiet, while the world outside grows darker and wider and more open. You are safe inside this gentle, rocking carriage. The train knows the way. It has traveled this route 1,000 times before. All you need to do is breathe and soften and let go. The rhythm of the wheels on the track is a language you understand without thinking. Click and sway. Click and sway. It is the sound of distance being covered without effort. It is the sound of moving through the night while remaining perfectly still. Somewhere outside, a stand of trees moves past the window, their shapes dark and soft against the slightly lighter sky. They are gone as quickly as they came, replaced again by open fields, by wide, flat darkness, by the sense of enormous quiet pressing gently on all sides. You are between worlds now, no longer in the city, not yet in the mountains. The train is carrying you through the in-between, through the long, soft, breathing dark of the countryside at night, and it is perhaps the most peaceful place there is. Let your eyes close a little more. Let the window become a blur of soft, dark shapes. The hum is there. The rocking is there. Your breath is slow and easy. You are held and carried gently through the gentle night. There is a small light in the ceiling of the carriage, a warm, low glow that does not demand your attention. It turns the navy blue of the seats into something softer, something that reminds you of dusk, of the last light before dark. The carpeted floor is a deep, muted pattern, worn smooth in the walkway between the seats. Everything here is worn smooth in the way that things are worn smooth by comfort and use and many quiet journeys. The overhead rack above you holds your bag, if you have one. It rests there, easy and still, needing nothing from you. Everything you brought with you is accounted for. Everything you need is here, in this quiet carriage, in this gentle rocking dark. The train slows again, approaching another small station. This one is barely a platform, 2 or 3 lamplights standing in the dark, a small shelter with a bench, a sign with a name you do not quite read before it is gone. No one boards, no one leaves. The doors open, pause, close. The train eases back into its rhythm. The lamplight fades behind you. You find yourself thinking of nothing in particular. This is good. The thoughts that were following you through the day, the lists and the worries and the small, persistent questions, they are losing their grip. They are falling away like the city fell away, slowly, one light at a time, until the dark between them is wider than the lights themselves. And then the dark is everything. You are not asleep yet, but you are very close to something, a threshold, a soft, warm edge. On one side is the still waking world, the gentle rocking of the train, the low hum, the dark window. On the other side is the deep, restful place your body has been waiting for all day. You are standing very gently at that edge. There is no hurry to cross it. You can rest here for as long as you like. The train will carry you on regardless. The night outside will continue to open, wider and quieter, regardless. You only need to breathe and soften and wait, and the rest will come on its own. Outside, the land is rising very slightly now, almost imperceptibly. The fields are giving way to rougher ground, to low hills that blot out parts of the dark sky, to the first suggestion of something larger ahead. You cannot see the mountains yet, but you can feel them there, waiting in the dark, patient and enormous and still. A small stream appears briefly beside the track, catching no light at all, only distinguishable by the way it moves, a faint silver thread in the grass. Then it is gone. A gate stands open at the edge of a field, leading nowhere visible. A telephone pole passes, then another, their lines swooping gently between them like the curves of something breathing. The world outside is made of darkness and edges and soft, unhurried shapes. You do not need to name any of it. You do not need to understand it. You only need to watch it softly, the way you might watch the patterns behind your closed eyelids, allowing them to drift and shift without holding on to any of them. Your shoulders have dropped. You may not have noticed, but they have. The place between your shoulder blades is soft and open. Your neck is long and loose. Your breath moves easily in and out, as easy and unconscious as the train moving through the dark. There is a low, quiet sound that has joined the hum now, very faint, barely there. It might be the wind outside the sealed windows. It might be the sound the train makes as the landscape changes, as the land rises, and the track bends gently upward. It is a soft sound, almost like breathing, almost like the sound a very large, very still thing makes when it simply exists in the night. The mountains are getting closer. You cannot see them clearly in the dark, but the sky has changed. The stars above have multiplied and brightened because the sky is wider and cleaner out here, far from the haze of the city. The darkness at the horizon is not flat now, but shaped, rising and falling in long, slow curves, like a sleeping body under a dark blanket. You find your own breath sinking with those shapes, with the long, slow rise and fall of the hills and ridges outside. In as the land rises, out as it falls away again. Long, slow, effortless. A tunnel takes you for a moment. The window goes black and the sound of the train fills the carriage, deeper and rounder, folding in on itself. Then the tunnel releases you, and the night outside is darker and wider than it was before, and the stars are brighter, and the mountains are there. They are enormous. Even in the dark, even only half visible against the sky, you can feel their enormity. They rise on either side of the track, their lower slopes dark with forest, their upper ridges fading into a sky that is deep blue and very clear. There is snow on the highest peaks, barely visible, a faint pale edge against the stars. They are ancient and patient and utterly still. You feel something when you see them. Not excitement, but something quieter. A kind of recognition, the feeling that you have come far enough now, that you are somewhere the busyness of the day cannot reach, that the mountains themselves are a kind of permission to let go completely. The train moves through them slowly, carefully. It winds along the valley floor, following the river that runs beside the track, the water dark and fast, and almost silent from this distance. On either side, the slopes rise steeply, covered in pine trees whose shapes are black and pointed against the sky. The forest is so dense and so dark that it seems to breathe, slow and deep, in and out, in and out. You are very relaxed now. Very, very relaxed. Your body has given itself entirely to the seat, to the rocking, to the warm and steady hum. Your thoughts are thin and soft, like mist, like the mist that curls at the base of the trees outside. They come and go without catching. The train curves gently to the left, and the mountains shift around you, rearranging themselves in the dark. A different peak comes into view, its outline sharper than the others, its snow a little brighter in the starlight. Then the train curves right, and it is gone, replaced by a long, forested slope that falls almost to the track. The river is visible below, a pale shimmer between the trees. You can almost hear it if you listen for it beneath the hum. A soft, rushing sound, cold and clean and continuous, water that has come from the snowfields high above, threading down through the rocks and the forest, finding its way through the dark. Your eyes are almost closed. You are watching the mountains not so much with your eyes as with your whole resting body. The shapes of them are in you now, those long, slow curves, those patient ridges, that vast and quiet dark. They have entered you in the way that calming things do, not as thoughts, but as a feeling in the chest, a slowing, a deepening. Breathe in and out. The train rocks. The mountains stand still. You are moving through something ancient. The rocks of these mountains were here before the train, before the track, before the first road and the first fire and the first words spoken in the valley below. They will be here long after all of that. They have been patient for millions of years, and they are patient now, standing in the dark, while the small, bright train slides through the valley at their feet. There is something very comforting about that, about being small and held and carried through something enormous and still. You do not need to be large tonight. You do not need to be anything. The mountains are enough. The carriage is very quiet. The passenger who was sleeping is still sleeping. The one who was reading has closed their book and rested their head back, their light off now. The whole carriage rests in its low, warm glow, and the only sound is the hum and the gentle click of the wheels and the soft sway of the world around you. Another tunnel, longer this time. The darkness outside the window becomes absolute, and for a moment you are inside the mountain itself, inside the rock, inside the dark. The sound of the train is fuller here, rounder, closer. Then the tunnel ends, and the valley opens out ahead, wide and pale, and scattered with the tiniest lights of a small mountain village far below. The lights are very few. A handful of yellow windows, a street lamp or two, a church steeple faintly lit. They sit in the valley floor like a small, warm cluster of fallen stars. The dark around them is total. The slopes above them are invisible, lost in the night. But those small lights glow with a quiet certainty, the way small things glow when the dark is very large around them. You watch them as the train descends a little, winding along the valley wall. They grow slightly larger, then the track curves and they vanish, replaced by the forest again, by the close dark of the trees pressing up beside the window. The smell of pine, cool and faintly resinous, seems to enter the carriage through some invisible gap, and it is a clean, sharp, deeply calming smell. You breathe it in, that cool forest smell, the smell of a world that is alive and quiet and very old. It settles into your chest like something gentle, like a hand placed softly on the sternum, pressing warmth inward. The train slows very slightly as the grade steepens. You can feel it in the engine's hum, a slight deepening, a slight effort. But the carriage still rocks, gently and steadily, and you are still held. You are still warm. You are still drifting, somewhere between waking and not waking, between the soft awareness of the mountains and the softer darkness behind your closed eyes. Let your eyes close all the way now, if they have not already. You do not need to see the mountains to feel them. They are in the hum and the rocking and the cool air and the vast, patient quiet that presses from all sides. You are inside them now, in a way, cradled in their valley, moving through their dark. The sounds of the train are a lullaby. Not a lullaby with notes or words, but a lullaby with rhythm and vibration, and the endless, soft repetition of the wheels on the track. Click and sway, click and sway. The same and the same and the same. Each repetition a little softer, each sway a little more gentle, each click a little more distant, as if the train is slowly learning to be still. You have done enough today. Whatever the day held, you carried it. And now you can set it down. Not forever, not with any drama, simply the way you set a heavy bag down when you finally reach a comfortable place to rest. You can set it all down now. The train will carry it forward while you sleep. Imagine the weight leaving your shoulders, your neck, and your jaw and your forehead. Imagine it draining out through your palms, which are soft and open in your lap, and flowing away through the seat and the floor and down into the dark ground that the train glides over. Everything heavy gone, everything tight released. You are light now, empty of all but the breath moving gently in and out, and the soft awareness of the rocking, and the mountains, dark and still on either side. The river is still down there, below the track, following the valley as the train follows the valley. You cannot hear it clearly, but you know it is there, moving through the dark, cold and clean, running over smooth stones in its bed, finding the lowest path with the certainty of water that has been doing this for a very, very long time. There is moss on the rocks beside the water. You cannot see it, but you can know it. Dark green and soft, holding the cold moisture of the mountain, small ferns growing in the crevices of the stone wall beside the track, pine needles carpeting the forest floor, deep and quiet, cushioning each sound until the forest is nearly silent. The mountains do not hurry. The water does not hurry. The forest does not hurry. Everything here moves at the pace of something that is nowhere urgent to be, that is simply doing what it has always done, being what it has always been. You are allowed to be like that too tonight. You are allowed to simply be without hurrying, without doing, without needing to be anywhere other than exactly here. The train settles into a long, gentle curve, and the rocking evens out, becomes almost imperceptible. Just the slightest swaying, just the smallest shift from side to side. You breathe. The mountains breathe. The forest breathes. Everything is breathing slowly, softly together. Your thoughts, if they come at all now, are like clouds over the mountain peaks. They drift in from one side, cross slowly, and drift out the other. You watch them without following them. They have no power over you tonight. They are only shapes passing. The low hum of the train is in your chest now, in the slow place behind your breastbone. It is a good feeling, a grounding feeling, as if the train's engine and your own heartbeat have found a common rhythm and decided to slow together, beat by steady beat, slower and slower, until the difference between the two is hard to name. Outside, a high ridge is visible against the stars, a long, dark line that curves across the sky like a sleeping shoulder. Below it, the forest is solid and black and immense. The track winds along the base of the ridge, and the mountain rises up on your side of the carriage, close enough that you could almost reach the stone. And on the other side, the valley falls away, deep and dark, and full of the sound of unseen water. You are very small in this landscape, but being small here does not feel frightening. It feels like relief. The enormous, quiet mountains do not ask anything of you. They simply stand as they have always stood and allow you to pass through their dark with no more fuss than the river makes, or the mist, or the wind moving slowly through the pine tops. The train moves on. You drift. The hum continues. The rocking continues. The mountains stand on either side, patient and vast and still, holding the valley gently between them the way large, quiet hands hold something small and sleeping. Let yourself be held. Let the valley hold you, the train hold you, the warm seat and the low light, and the steady hum hold you. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to hold on to. You can let go completely and fully and without worry, and you will still be carried forward safely through the beautiful breathing dark. Breathe in and out. The train moves through the mountains. The night is clear and very still. The stars are very many. Somewhere in the forest, a small creature rests in a hollow log, warm and still, while the wind moves through the pines above. Somewhere on the ridge, a stone sits where it has sat for 10,000 years, wearing very slowly in the weather, unhurried content. You are part of all of this. Your slow breath is part of the valley's slow breath. Your restful stillness is part of the forest's restful stillness. The mountains receive you without question, as they receive the snow and the mist and the small bright river and the train that passes through there quiet once each night like a moving thread of warm light. You are almost asleep. You can feel it, the way the border between one state and another becomes thin and permeable, the way the train and the mountains and your own slow breath are all becoming one continuous, soft, unhurried thing. There is no need to resist. There is no need to hold on. Let the border dissolve. Let the waking world become the dreaming world, gently and completely, without any sharp edge to mark the crossing. The train rocks. The mountains stand. The stars are very still above the high white peaks. You are drifting. You are warm. You are deeply, completely at rest. The city is far behind you now, all of it. Every light, every sound, every pressing urgency of the day, it is behind you, and the distance between you and it is growing, and it does not matter. None of it can reach you here in the valley, in the rocking carriage, in the soft and patient dark. Your breathing is very slow now. You can feel it moving through you like the river moves through the valley, in the most natural path, unhurried and sure. In through your nose, cool and clean, down into the full, low place of your belly, and out again, long and soft and quiet. Someone has turned the carriage light down, or perhaps the night outside has deepened, or perhaps your own closed eyes have made everything softer and darker. The shapes of the mountains are impressions now, felt more than seen, the enormous, gentle presence of things that have been standing in the dark for a very long time and will go on standing long after the train has passed. The hum of the engine is lower now. Or is it that your hearing has softened, turned inward the way hearing does when the body is very close to sleep? The sounds of the world are moving a little further away, not because the world has changed, but because you are going somewhere else now, somewhere quieter, somewhere the train's hum is only a very distant warmth, felt in the chest rather than heard with the ears. The rocking is still there, always the rocking, left and right, very soft, like being held by something enormous and kind. The train holds you, the seat holds you, the valley holds you, the mountains hold you, Everything is holding you, and you are going down gently into the deep, restful dark that has been waiting patiently at the bottom of every breath. Go down. It is safe. It is warm. The train knows the way. You are drifting now, truly drifting. The mountains are still on either side, but they are in the dream now. Huge and quiet shapes that mean safety and stillness, and the deep, patient peace of things that are old and unhurried and perfectly still. The river is in the dream too, moving over its cold stones, silvery in the starlight, patient and clear and continuous, running on through the dark without asking for anything. The forest is in the dream, the pines standing close together, their roots deep in the mountain, their tops very still in the windless night, needles dark against a sky full of stars. And the train is in the dream, still moving, still rocking, still humming its low, steady hum, carrying you through the beautiful night, through the sleeping mountains, toward wherever the track leads next. You are already asleep. You simply have not noticed yet. Sleep. Let the mountains be enormous and still around you. Let the river run. Let the train carry you forward through the beautiful, breathing dark. Let your breath go. Let everything go. You are safe. You are warm. You are deeply, completely at rest. The night is long and quiet and very good. Sleep now. The train moves on. And now let us begin again, a little more slowly, letting each word settle a little deeper, letting the story carry you down a little further. You are in the train. You have been in the train for a little while now. The city is already gone, already a pale glow in the distance behind you, and you are in the open countryside, moving through the dark at a slow and steady pace. You are sitting by the window. Your head is resting against the seat back, turned slightly toward the glass. The glass is cool and dark. You are not pressing against it. You are just turned toward it, softly, the way a sleeper turns toward warmth. Outside, the fields are dark and flat. Here and there, a solitary tree stands at the edge of a field, its shape very simple against the lighter dark of the sky. A bare trunk, a rounded crown, still and patient. You pass it, and it is gone. The clouds are thin tonight. The stars are visible through them in places, pale and scattered. The moon is not visible from where you sit, but its light is somewhere in the sky, making the underside of the clouds faintly luminous, so that the sky seems to glow very softly from within, as if lit by something gentle and far away. Your body is fully relaxed. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your hands are resting in your lap, curled softly, not holding anything. Your shoulders are down. There is no tension in your arms, or your neck, or your face. Your jaw is loose. The muscles of your forehead are smooth and soft. Even the tiny muscles around your eyes have let go, so that your eyelids rest together without any effort at all. You are breathing slowly. You have been breathing slowly for a while now. Each breath arrives on its own, without any asking. Your body knows how to breathe. way it knows how to carry you through the world without any deliberate thought. Tonight, you are handing everything over to that knowing. You are letting your body do what it does best and simply resting within it. The train rocks. In the rocking, there is a pattern, a slow, familiar three-part movement, a lean to one side, a moment of balance, a lean to the other side, over and over, gentle and continuous. It has been happening since the station, and it will go on happening until the journey ends. And between the two of those points, there is nothing required of you at all. Carriage smells faintly of the journey, of the warm, slightly dusty air that gathers in a small space where people have been sitting for a long time, of the faint ghost of coffee from the dining car 3 carriages back, of something clean and mineral, faint, almost imagined, that might be the mountain air beginning to find its way in. It is a familiar smell, the smell of a journey already underway, the smell of somewhere between here and there, which is nowhere at all, which is a kind of freedom. Outside, the darkness is deep and wide. There are fewer and fewer lights now. The small clusters of houses that dotted the countryside closer to the city have thinned to almost nothing. The roads that ran beside the track have turned away and gone their own dark ways. The land is emptying out, becoming simpler, becoming only the most essential things: dark earth and dark sky, and the soft shapes of trees, and the occasional silver glimmer of water. You watch it without effort, without naming it, simply watching the dark shapes move past the window, one after another, none of them asking for more than a moment of your soft attention before they are gone and the next one comes. A low hill rises on the left and falls away again. A fence line runs beside the track for 100 yards, its posts dark and regular, then cuts away at an angle and disappears. A barn sits in a field, solid and black, its shape simple and complete. You pass it, and it is behind you, and the field beyond it is empty and dark. The train slows slightly, very slightly, for no visible reason. Or perhaps the grade is changing. Perhaps the land is beginning the long, gradual rise that will eventually bring you to the mountains. You cannot see the mountains yet, but you feel the train's attention shifting forward, leaning slightly into what is ahead, the way you might lean into a long, slow hill on a bicycle. The hum deepens just a fraction. The wheels on the track hold their steady rhythm. The rocking goes on. You breathe in and your chest fills, and you breathe out and it empties, and the space between the breathing is very quiet and very still. There are moments now when your thoughts have gone almost completely quiet. You may notice this if you check for it. You may find that where there were sentences a little while ago, there are now only impressions. Colors, barely, shapes, without names, the memory of the warmth of the seat, the impression of the mountain waiting somewhere ahead, the sound of the river before you reached it, anticipated and not yet heard. These shapeless impressions are the threshold. They are the language of the place just before sleep. They are the mind's way of becoming something simpler than a mind, something closer to what the river is, or the mountain, or the dark field, or the tree standing alone at its edge. Something that simply exists, without commentary, without agenda, without urgency. You are almost that, almost nothing but the breath and the rocking and the quiet dark. Outside, the mountains are beginning to announce themselves, not through sight, but through the way the darkness has thickened on the horizon. The sky, where it meets the land, is no longer a flat line, but a shape, a horizon that rises and falls, that suggests depth and height, that tells you something very large is standing in the dark ahead. The stars above those shapes are very bright. Out here, away from every city and every road and every light, the stars are the kind of stars that you might have forgotten were possible. Very many, very steady, very high up and very still, each one a point of clean, cold light in a sky that goes up forever. They do not flicker. They do not move. They simply are, the way the mountains are, the way the river is, the way everything out here simply is, without performance, without effort, without anything other than the simple and astonishing fact of existing in the night. You are part of that, you know. Your breath rising and falling in the warm carriage. Your heart beating its quiet, steady beat. The small warmth of you, here in the dark, moving through the ancient landscape. The train enters the first real foothills. The land rises on either side of the track, steeper now, covered with grass that becomes, as the slope increases, scrub and then low trees, and then the first dark rows of pine. The valley floor has narrowed. The sky above is a narrower band now, but the stars in it are concentrated and brilliant. The sound the train makes has changed. Not much, but the echoey return of the engines hum off the rising slopes is different from the open flatness of the fields. Fuller, somehow, closer, as if the mountains themselves are listening and returning the sound gently. You feel enclosed, not uncomfortably, not like the tunnel, which was brief and complete. This enclosure is gentle and gradual and welcoming. The mountains are drawing close the way a room draws close when you sink into a chair, the walls coming in not to trap you, but to define a warm and bounded space in which you are held. The trees on the slopes above are very still. No wind is moving tonight. They stand in long, dark rows, one behind another, their pointed tops all at slightly different heights, creating a silhouette that is complicated and beautiful against the star-filled sky. The river has reappeared. You can hear it very faintly now, even through the carriage walls, the train windows. A low, continuous sound, not loud enough to be heard clearly, but present, woven into the hum and the rhythm and the rocking. An undertone that has been there, perhaps, for longer than you realized. It is the sound of cold water over smooth stone. It is the sound of something that has been moving for so long that movement is its natural state. its resting state. The river does not work to flow. It simply does, following the path of least resistance with a grace that looks, from the outside, like perfect contentment. You follow that sound with a soft part of you, not your thinking mind, not your analyzing mind, the part of you that is made of the same water that has been moving and moving again through the long course of a life, and knows, right now, in this quiet rocking carriage, what it is to simply let the current take you. The current takes you. The rocking takes you. The hum takes you. You go down gently into the river dark, into the mounting quiet, into the long, still, patient breath of the world that is older than any of your concerns, that holds you without knowing your name, that asks nothing from you that you have not already given by simply existing. The train winds deeper into the mountains. The slope on either side is steep now, forested, the trees very close. There are no more fields. There are no more farmhouses. There is only the valley, and the river, and the forest, and the train moving through them with its low song. High above, visible only in glimpses between the treetops, the bare rock of the peaks glints faintly under the stars. Cold stone, very old, worn smooth by ice that was here long before the river was here, long before the trees, long before anything that breathes. The ice came and went and came again, and each time it left the rock a little smoother, a little more patient, a little more like something that is finished becoming and has entered the long, still condition of simply being. You are entering that condition tonight. The train slows a little more. A tunnel mouth opens ahead, dark and round, carved straight into the mountain. The train enters it with a change in sound, the outside world swallowed by rock, the carriage enclosed in the close, warm echo of the engine. In the tunnel, there is nothing to see. The window is black. Your reflection floats in it, dim and insubstantial. You look peaceful in that dim reflection. You look as if you are already sleeping. The tunnel goes on and on, long and steady, with no variation, no curves, just the straightforward movement through the dark inside the mountain. The sound is constant and close. The rocking is constant and close. You are inside the mountain, and the mountain is very still around you. Then the light, a circle of light or dark, far ahead, growing slowly larger. The tunnel end coming toward you. The night outside opening again. And then you are out, and the valley has changed. You are on the other side of the ridge now. The mountains are different here, the arrangement of slopes and peaks different. A wider, deeper valley opening before you, the river broader and slower. A long, still meadow on the far bank, silver in the moonlight that has finally found a gap in the thin clouds. The meadow is very pale and very flat. Nothing moves in it. It simply lies there, moon-silvered and still, as if it has always been lying there, as if it grew there like the grass itself, patient and flat, and made entirely of quiet. your breath, in and out, the moonlight on the meadow, very still, the mountains behind, enormous and dark, the mountains ahead, enormous and dark, and between them, the pale flat meadow and the slow river, and the train moving through the silver night with its warm hum and its gentle rock, and you inside it, breathing, drifting, almost there. Almost. Your eyes close all the way. The moonlit meadow becomes an impression. A pale softness behind your lids, a memory of silver and still grass and the open sky above it. The mountains become a feeling in the chest. Enormousness, patience, oldness, the weight of something that has been standing in the dark for longer than memory and will go on standing. The river becomes the sound of your own blood, moving quietly through you, unhurried, continuous, sure. The hum of the train becomes the hum of the warm, living dark inside you. You are the meadow now. You are the river. You are the mountain. You are the dark between the stars. You are breathing, just breathing, and the world is breathing with you. The train moves on through the mountains, and you are in it, and you are at rest, and the night is very deep and very good, and you are going to sleep now. The train moves on. Breathe, rest, sleep. The valley deepens. The mountains grow larger on either side. You have been asleep, perhaps, or close to it, and now you are drifting back for a moment, gently, only to find that nothing has changed. The train still rocks. The hum is still there. The window beside you is still dark and still, with the faint shapes of mountains moving slowly past. There is no need to wake fully. Let the surface of your attention float up just enough to take in the warmth of the carriage, the softness of the seat, the slow and steady pace of the world outside, and then let it sink again. You are safe. You are warm. The train is carrying you. Everything is as it should be. The mountains at this hour are utterly quiet. The forests on their slopes are asleep in their own way. The trees do not sleep the way you sleep, but they are still. And still is a kind of sleep, a resting, a not doing, a being present without moving. The trees are very still tonight. The air is still. Even the river, somewhere below, has found a wide and slow stretch and is moving with barely any sound at all. The highest peaks have a faint luminescence to them where the snow catches the starlight and holds it, turning it into something softer, something that seems to come from within the mountain rather than from above. A cold light, a very high and lonely light, beautiful in the way that things are beautiful when no one made them beautiful, when they simply are. The train rounds a bend, a long, slow curve, and a new arrangement of mountains appears. Peaks you have not seen before, their shapes unfamiliar and very large. They crowd the sky on both sides, and the stars between them are concentrated and brilliant. You feel, for a moment, the deep and comfortable sensation of being very small in a very large place, and finding that smallness to be entirely comfortable. You do not need to be large. You do not need to fill the valley or rival the mountains. You are allowed to be small and warm and moving through the night in a comfortable carriage. And that is more than enough. Your breath is very slow and very even now, in and out, in the same unhurried rhythm it has held for the last hour. Your body has settled fully. There is no part of you that is holding on or waiting for something or bracing against anything. You are as soft as the mist that gathers at the valley floor, as still as the snow on the high peaks, as continuous and quiet as the river below. The mountains are in you. You took them in with your slow breathing, with your open and resting attention, and they are part of you now. Their patience is your patience. Their stillness is your stillness. Let the train carry you forward. Let the night hold you. Let the mountains be enormous and still on either side. You are already asleep. You have been asleep for a little while now. The dream is very like the valley, dark and quiet and very large. The train is somewhere in it, its hum faint, its rocking gentle. A warmth in the dark that means you are held and carried. The river is in the dream, moving over its cold stones. The forest is in the dream, the pines very still, the needles soft underfoot, the deep quiet of old trees that have been growing for 100 years. The mountains are in the dream, largest of all, patient and still, their peaks faintly lit by something very far away. And you are in the dream, soft and warm and still, moving through it all without effort, without urgency, without need. The train moves on. The night is deep and very good. You are resting now. You are deeply resting. The mountains stand on either side, enormous and patient and still. The river runs below, cold and clean and continuous. The forest breathes its slow, green breath. The stars are very many and very still. And you are here in the warm carriage, on the night train through the mountains, breathing slowly, resting completely, going deeper with every breath into the most restful sleep. Breathe in and out, in and out. The train moves on, you sleep. The hours pass the way hours pass in sleep, unmeasured, unhurried, each one folding softly into the next, with no seam between them. The mountains are still there when you surface, briefly, from somewhere very deep. They are always there. That is one of the good things about mountains. They are not going anywhere. They will be there when you open your eyes in the morning, and they will be lit by the first gray light of dawn, their peaks still white, their forests beginning to emerge from the dark. But that is later. That is the morning. Right now, the night is still full and dark and good, and the train is still moving, and you are still warm, and there is nothing to do but rest. Your body has let go of the day completely. Whatever you were carrying when you boarded, it is gone now, carried away in the dark somewhere behind the train, left in the fields and the suburbs and the city lights that are so far away now they might be something you imagined. What is real is this: the seat beneath you, the window beside you, the hum in your chest and the rocking in your bones, and the slow, full, easy breath moving in and out of your body without any effort at all. The valley floor has grown wider. The mountains have stepped back a little, leaving a broader, flatter space between them, and the meadowland here is long and pale and very still. No farmhouses, no roads, only the wide, flat valley and the river and the forest on the slopes above, and the huge dark bulk of the mountains beyond. You are very deep in them now, very far from the city, very deep in the night. The train has carried you a long, long way from the place you started, and where you have arrived is not a destination, not yet, but a kind of middle place, a between place, the deep interior of a night journey through mountains, and it is one of the quietest and most restful places there is. Nothing is required of you in this place. Nothing at all. Not thought, not attention, not action. Only the breath. Only the resting. Only the slow and steady willingness to be carried forward through the beautiful dark. The river is very close to the track here. You can hear it clearly if you are listening, which you are not exactly, but you can hear it anyway, the way you hear things in that state between sleeping and waking, the way sounds come in from a great and comfortable distance, and mean nothing more than that the world is alive and well, and going about its own slow business while you rest. The sound of water over stone, continuous, clean, very cold, very clear. It is the sound of time passing without urgency. The sound of all the mountain water finding its way to the valley, finding its way to the plain, finding its way to the sea, following the long, slow, patient course that water follows, never in a hurry, always arriving. You are arriving too, not at a station, not yet, at rest, at the place the body wants to reach after a long day, the place it has been moving toward all day without knowing it, the place where the breath is slow and the muscles are soft and the thoughts have gone quiet, and the dark behind the closed eyes is warm and gentle and very, very still. You are there, you have arrived. The train moves on through the mountains. You are deeply asleep. The mountains stand. The river runs. The stars are very many and very still. You are warm and safe and at rest. Sleep now, sleep deeply. The night is long and quiet and very good. The train will carry you all the way through, gently, steadily, through the valley and between the peaks and down the other side and on, and all you need to do is rest. Rest. Breathe. Sleep. The night is yours. The mountains are yours. The beautiful, patient, breathing dark is yours. Rest in it. Sleep. Somewhere very high above the train, the stars are turning very slowly in their courses, the way they have always turned, the way they will always turn, patient and far and endlessly still. The mountain peaks beneath them are unchanged by this turning, unchanged by anything, patient stones that have stood through ice and fire and rain and 10,000 nights like this one. The valley sleeps, the forest sleeps. The river moves in the dark, always moving, always arriving. and you sleep too in the warm carriage rocked by the train, carried through the mountain night. Your breath goes in and out, very slow, very soft, very still. The night is deep, you are deeper. Sleep now, breathe now, rest now. The train moves on. The mountains are very still. The stars are very many. The night is long and quiet and very, very good. You are deeply, completely, perfectly at rest. Sleep. And still the train moves on. Still the mountains hold. Still the night breathes around you, wide and clean and full of nothing but the good, dark quiet that the world makes when everything that hurries has finally stilled. You are resting so deeply now. Your body has become very heavy in the pleasant way that sleep makes the body heavy, as if it has found its natural weight at last, the weight it carries beneath all the effort and the tension and the holding on. You are your own true weight tonight, settled into the seat, settled into the warmth, settled into the long, rocking journey through the dark. Let us stay here a little longer. There is nowhere else to be. The train will arrive when it arrives. The morning will come when it comes. But right now there is only the carriage, and the window, and the mountains outside, and the soft, continuous dark. The window beside you is still dark, still cool if you were to press your hand against it, though your hand is resting in your lap, soft and open, and you are not pressing it against anything. Everything about you is open and unguarded tonight. Your palms face upward. Your fingers are slightly curled, the way fingers curl when the hands have completely let go. There is no tension in them. There is no waiting. Outside, the train is moving along a very long, straight section of track. The mountains have stepped back a little here, leaving a wider corridor of valley, and the track runs arrow straight through it, so that the rocking is very even and very slow. A soft lateral drift from side to side that is barely distinguishable from stillness. On either side of the track, the valley floor is covered in long grass. In the daylight, it would be green, perhaps, or the pale gold of late summer. But at this hour, it is simply dark. A flat, dark texture that moves very slowly past the window, neither hurrying nor lagging, simply being the ground, being the valley, being part of the enormous quiet that everything here participates in. A heron stands at the edge of a shallow pond. You cannot see it clearly, only the suggestion of its shape, tall and still, an upright gray form at the water's edge. It has been standing there for a very long time, perhaps. It is in no hurry to move. The water around its feet is dark and perfectly still, and the reflection of the few stars visible above is in that water too, tiny and very far down, so that the heron seems to be standing between two skies. You pass it, and it does not move. It is still there, behind you now, standing in the dark between the two skies, patient and still. The pond disappears, and the grass comes back, and then the forest begins again on the slopes above. The pine trees dense and close, their tops very still in the windless night. The smell of them is in the carriage now, faintly, that clean, resinous smell of living wood and cold air and the dark, damp earth beneath the needles. It is a smell that the body responds to before the mind does, a deep and wordless signal that says, "You are in a good place. You are in a clean place. You can rest here." You breathe that smell in. You let it move through you. You let it settle into your chest and stay there, that clean pine smell, that mountain air smell, while your breath moves softly in and out around it. The track curves very gently to the right, following the valley as it bends. The mountains on the left come closer and then recede again. The sky above the right-hand ridge opens for a moment, showing a wider expanse of stars, and then closes again as the ridge rises and narrows the corridor. Everything outside is in very slow motion. The mountains move past you at the pace of things that are enormous and unhurried. The trees file past one at a time, each one a dark shape at the window for a moment, then gone, replaced by the next, and the next, each one identical to the last, each one its own singular standing creature, with its own roots going down into its own patch of mountain earth. You think of the roots for a moment, in the soft, wandering way that thoughts move at this hour. The roots of the pines going down into the stony soil, each root finding its own path between the rocks, patient and persistent, following the cracks and the softness, going wherever the earth allows. It takes years for a root to go very deep, decades even. The tree does not hurry this. It simply grows and grows and grows, a little each year, and in 100 years it is enormous and deep-rooted and utterly solid. You are like that too, in your own way. Your roots go down into the years behind you, into the people and the places and the moments that made you, and they hold you even when you do not think about them, even when you are floating and light as you are right now, drifting in the warm carriage in the middle of the mountain night. The roots hold. You can float. Your breathing is so slow and so easy now. In and out, in and out. Each breath a small, complete journey, beginning and ending in the same soft place, leaving everything a little more restful than it found it. The train passes a small stone bridge over a side stream, a tributary of the main river, coming down off the slopes in a hurry of cold water over mossy rock. You hear it for only a moment, a bright, quick sound under the engine's hum, and then it is gone, and the valley quiet reasserts itself. Further along, a rockfall has left a long scar on the slope, gray and bare between the dark green forest on either side. The rocks there are raw and new-looking, pale in the starlight, their edges not yet worn smooth by rain and time. In 100 years, the forest will have crept back across them. In 1,000 years, the rock will be rounded and mossy and indistinguishable from the rest. Time does that to everything, softens and smooths and brings back the green. You find this thought restful. The long, slow work of time, smoothing everything, bringing everything back to softness. You do not need to do anything tonight to help that work along. It is happening on its own, as it always has, as it always will. The seat beneath you is so familiar now. You have been sitting in it long enough that it has become simply the place you are, the ground you rest on. It has shaped itself to you, or you have shaped yourself to it, and the result is comfort, is the feeling of being exactly where you are meant to be. Your legs are very relaxed. You can feel the weight of them resting on the floor, entirely passive, entirely at ease. They have carried you through the whole day, and now they are allowed to rest, and they are grateful for it in the wordless way that tired muscles are grateful for stillness. Your arms, too, heavy and warm. The long muscles of your arms that have been reaching and holding and working all day are soft now, unwound, draped over the armrests without effort. Your wrists are loose. Your hands are open. Your back is fully supported by the seat. The entire length of your spine is in contact with something warm and soft, not pressed hard against it, just resting the way a tired person rests against something solid and feels the solidity as kindness. Your neck is long. The back of your neck, where tension often gathers, is soft tonight. You can feel the softness there, the release of something that had been slightly held all day without your knowing. It has let go. The muscles along the back of your neck are loose and warm. And your face, which has been presenting itself to the world all day, making expressions, receiving impressions, doing the small and constant social work of being alive among other people. Your face is doing nothing now. It is simply resting. Your forehead is smooth. Your eyes are closed, gently, without strain. Your cheeks are soft. Your jaw is open just a little, just enough for the breath to move easily in and out. You are completely at ease in your own face, your own body, your own resting self. The train moves on. The mountains are very dark and very still outside. The stars are brilliant above the high ridges. There is a long, slow grade beginning now. You can feel the train leaning into it, the engine's note deepening slightly, the forward motion taking on a faint quality of effort. Though inside the carriage, everything remains as smooth and steady as before. You are simply rising, very slowly, very gradually, being carried upward through the mountain night toward whatever the high valley holds. The air at this altitude has a quality that even the carriage cannot entirely contain. It is a thinner air, a cleaner air, an air that has been in contact with rock and ice and open sky for a very long time before it found its way down into the valley and eventually into the sealed space of the train. You breathe it and feel the cleanliness of it, the altitude in it, the faint sharp note that reminds you how high up you are, how far above the flatlands and the city and all of that. Up here, things are simpler. Up here, the air is clean and the dark is complete, and the only sounds are the train and the river, and the very occasional voice of the wind in the high passes. Up here, even the stars seem to have more room, the sky being wider and darker, and more fully itself than the sky over any city can be. You belong to this sky tonight. You are under it, and it is very large above you, and you are very small, and that is exactly right. The train passes a small mountain lake. It appears suddenly, opening out beside the track on the left, a wide, still expanse of dark water that mirrors the mountains and the stars above with a clarity that seems impossible. The reflection is so precise, so still, that for a moment the lake looks like a window in the earth, looking down into another sky. The water is perfectly undisturbed. There is no wind tonight, and the only thing moving is the train itself, sliding along the near shore, its lights making a brief, warm smear in the reflection. Then the lake is behind you, its perfect mirror surface returning to absolute stillness, reflecting nothing but the mountains and the many stars. You carry the image of it with you, that still, dark water, that reflected sky, the feeling it gave you of depth and openness and perfect, unmarked calm. It has entered you the way the pine smell entered you, before the thinking mind had a chance to name it, as a feeling, a quality, a tone. Your breathing has taken on that quality. Still, deep, perfectly undisturbed. In and out like the tide of a lake with no wind, a movement so gentle it is barely movement at all. The grade continues. The valley has narrowed again, the mountains pressing close, the forest on the slopes thickening as the altitude rises. The trees here are different, a little smaller, a little more widely spaced, the way trees are in the places where the growing season is short and the winters are long. They are tough trees, these high altitude pines, their bark thick against the cold, their roots clinging to thin soil, their boughs heavy with years of patient growth. They have endured a great deal, these trees. They have endured winters so cold the sap in their heartwood froze. They have endured avalanches that took whole sections of the slope and left raw earth in their wake. They have endured droughts and winds and lightning strikes. And they are still here, still growing, still breathing their slow green breath through the long mountain nights. Endurance like that is a kind of peace. Not the peace of ease, but the peace of something that has faced the hard things and is still here, still standing, still putting out new growth each spring. You know something of that kind of endurance. You have faced your own hard things, and you are still here too, in this quiet carriage, on this quiet night, breathing slowly and resting deeply. You do not need to carry those hard things right now. They are behind you, like the city, growing smaller with distance. They will still be there when you need to return to them, as you will, but tonight they have no claim on you. Tonight belongs to the train and the mountains and the still lake you just passed and the stars and your own slow breath. Let the breath carry you. Let the rocking carry you. Let the hum carry you. Let all of it carry you down very gently through the last layers of awareness and into the deep, warm, wordless place where the body finally puts down everything it has been carrying and rests. You are almost there. You have been almost there for a while now. The edge is very close. The threshold is right here, just beneath the surface of your awareness, just a breath away. Breathe in and out and let yourself go. The night deepens. You have been in the deepest rest for a while now, or something very close to it, and the train has continued on, winding its slow way up through the mountain valley, and the world outside has continued to be dark and still and beautiful. Sometimes, in this kind of rest, a part of you surfaces very gently, not all the way, just barely, just enough to be aware for a moment that you are warm and held and safe, and then it sinks again. This is the most restful kind of sleep, this floating near the surface just long enough to confirm that everything is well, and then going back down. Let this be one of those moments. Notice that you are warm. Notice that you are resting. Notice that the train is still rocking, softly, steadily, and that the mountains are still outside, and that the night is still long and quiet. Everything is well. Everything is exactly as it should be. Now go back down. Breathe in and out and down. The upper valley is very wild. Up here, where the train winds along the last long stretch before the high pass, the landscape has shed the last of its gentleness and become something more austere, more fundamental. The slopes are steeper. The trees are fewer. Exposed rock shows through the thin turf in places, pale and massive, the bare bones of the mountain visible where the skin of soil has worn away. But it is not a harsh wildness. It is the wildness of things that simply are, without apology and without performance. The mountain does not try to be beautiful or terrible. It simply is what it is, stone and ice, and the long, slow force of its own weight pressing down through the ages. The track is very careful here. It moves slowly and thoughtfully, as if the engineers who built it understood the solemnity of the place and adjusted their plans accordingly. Each curve is wide and gentle. Each grade is managed with care. The train does not hurry through this landscape. It moves through it with respect, with the careful attention of a traveler who knows they are passing through something much larger and older than themselves. You feel that respect too. There is something in this high, bare, starlit landscape that calls for quietness. Not the quietness of fear or reverence in the church-like sense, but the quietness of simply being present in a place that is very large and very old and very indifferent to noise. You are quiet. You have been quiet for a long time now. Your mind has been quiet. Your body has been still. You are a small, warm, breathing thing in a very large and very still landscape, and the proportion feels exactly right. Outside, on the slope above the track, a vein of pale rock runs diagonally across the darker stone. A long, smooth band of something lighter, quartz perhaps, catching the starlight and holding it, making a faint, bright line across the mountain's face. It is very beautiful in a quiet way, a natural thing made over millions of years by heat and pressure and the slow movement of the earth. And it is beautiful in the way that things are beautiful when they are exactly what they are and nothing else. Your breath moves in and out, in and out. You are exactly what you are right now in this moment. Nothing more and nothing less. A person resting in a train, breathing slowly, moving through the mountain night. That is a good thing to be. The track curves around a high shoulder of the mountain, and for a moment the valley falls away on one side, and there is a view. A sudden, enormous opening of space, dark and vast, and filled with stars. The valley below is invisible in the dark, but the mountains on the far side are visible, their ridgelines a dark and complicated edge against the star-filled sky. It stretches on and on, that edge, ridge after ridge, each one a little paler and a little further than the last, fading into the distance until the very farthest ones are only a suggestion, a barely darker dark at the edge of everything. The scale of it is something the mind can barely hold. Mountain after mountain after mountain, each one enormous in itself, each one dwarfed by the panorama of which it is only a small part. And beyond the last ridge, the sky, which goes on forever, which has been going on forever, which contains all of this and an unimaginable amount more besides. You let your mind go with it, just for a moment. Let it travel out through the window, out across the dark valley, up over the nearest ridge, across the ranges beyond, on and on, and on, until thought thins out and becomes simply the feeling of vastness, the feeling of space, the feeling of something so large that the self dissolves into it like a breath of mist in an open sky. There is great rest in that dissolving, great relief in setting down the self for a moment and simply being part of the vastness. And then the curve continues, and the view closes, and the mountains close in again on both sides, and you are back in the corridor of the valley, held between the dark slopes, rocked by the train, with the hum in your chest and the slow, steady breath moving through you. You are held. You are always held. Even in the vastness, you are held. The train knows the track. The track knows the mountain knows the valley knows the river, and the river knows the sea, and all of it is part of the same enormous, patient, beautiful whole that has been here since before the first word was spoken and will be here long after the last. You are part of that whole. You have always been part of it. You do not need to do anything to belong to it. You already do. Breathe, rest. The mountains hold you. The night holds you. The whole vast, patient world holds you, and you are going deeper now, deeper than you have been all night, down into the very bottom of your rest, the place where the breath barely moves and the body is perfectly still, and the mind has gone as wide and quiet as the mountain sky. The train moves on. You go down. Somewhere in the high pass, the train slows almost to walking pace. The grade here is steep, and the curves are tight, and the engine works steadily and carefully, easing the long line of carriages up through the last section of the climb. The sound of it is different here, more purposeful. A low, patient working sound that is not unpleasant, that is in fact deeply reassuring. The sound of something doing exactly what it was designed to do, doing it steadily and well. Outside, the pass is open and windswept. Even at this hour, in this deep, calm night, there is a breath of air up here, a faint movement that you can see in the way the few low plants growing among the rocks stir very slightly, their dark shapes trembling just at the threshold of perception. The snow on the highest rocks is very white in the starlight, very clean, very cold. It has been there all through the summer, in the shadowed places where the sun never reaches, surviving in thin sheets and small drifts, persisting through the warm months with the patience of something that knows winter will return and bring more of its kind. You find the snow beautiful in the way it catches the light. It makes the high peaks luminous, gives the upper parts of the mountains a faint glow that has nothing to do with warmth. That is the cold, clear, indifferent light of reflected stars, the mountains quietly mirroring the sky. The train crests the pass. You can feel it, the slight change in the forward motion, the way the effort of the engine decreases as the grade levels, and then begins to go the other way. The train begins very slowly, very gently to descend. The other side of the mountains, a different valley, just beginning, far below in the dark. The descent is very gradual here. The train does not hurry down. It eases down, brake-held and careful, tracing the long curves of the track that wind back and forth across the slope in long, deliberate switchbacks. The carriage still rocks, but the rocking has a slightly different quality now, a forward lean, a sense of coming down, of returning, of the long descent beginning. But it is a very slow descent. It will take a long time to come down the other side of the mountains, just as it took a long time to go up. The night is still long. The dark is still complete. There is still no hurry. The valley below, as it begins to emerge from the dark, is a wide one, wider than the valley you traveled through on the way up. The mountains on either side are still very large, but they are set further apart, leaving more sky between them, more room for the moonlight to find the valley floor. Far, far below, you can see the faintest pale gleam of it, a wide, flat paleness that is the river on the valley floor, very broad here, moving slowly, reflecting the sky. The descending train curves around a shoulder of the mountain, and then the valley is directly ahead, opening out, growing wider with each passing minute. The trees on the slope below are different, broader leaved, less pointed, their shapes softer and more rounded, the kind of forest that grows lower down where the winters are milder and the soil is deeper. They are very dark and very still. The whole valley is very dark and very still. It is waiting, as valleys wait, as all the patient landforms of the earth wait, without impatience, without anticipation, simply being what they are in the long, quiet dark between one day and the next. You are like the valley tonight, wide and still and waiting for nothing, simply being what you are in the long, quiet dark. Your breathing is the valley's breathing. Your stillness is the valley's stillness. Your patience is the patience of stone and water, and the slow, certain turning of the earth. The train descends. You rest. The lower slopes, the broad-leaved forest, the wider valley, the larger river. You are below the high passes now, below the bare rock and the snow. You are in the lower mountains, where things are warmer and softer, and the world is beginning to have the rounded quality of a place where plenty of things grow. The river below is accompanied now by willows, their long shapes trailing over the water, their reflections trembling in the slow current. The banks are grassy, softer than the stony banks above. The valley floor is beginning to have the feel of a place where someone might live, where someone might graze a few animals or grow a few things. Though there are no lights visible, no signs of anyone, just the river and the willows and the wide, dark meadows. The train follows the river down, beside it, below it, crossing over it on small stone bridges, returning to its bank. The river is always there, always moving, always finding its way down through the dark. It is a good companion for a night journey, the river. It knows the way. You are going down now too. Down through the layers of sleep, through the light sleep and the medium sleep, and into the deep, full, dreamless rest that is the most restorative of all. You have been approaching it all night, getting a little closer with each slow breath, each rocking of the carriage, each passing mile of dark mountain. Here it is, the deep place, the still place, the place where the breath is very slow and the body is very heavy and the mind is very quiet as the valley at 3 in the morning, as quiet as the high pass with its snow and its stars, as quiet as the lake that mirrored the sky perfectly in its still, dark surface. You are in that mirror now. You have become that stillness. The world above you, the waking world, is reflected in you clearly and perfectly. But it is far away, at the top of a very deep and very calm lake, and you are at the bottom, where the water is very dark and very still, and nothing disturbs it. Rest here. Rest in the bottom of the lake. Rest in the deep and perfect stillness. Breathe very slowly, in and out. The train comes down through the mountains, winding along the river, rounding the long curves of the lower slopes. The forest thickens on either side. The valley widens. The river grows broader and slower and more silver in the faint light. The sky above the valley is beginning, very faintly, in the far east, to be just the smallest fraction lighter. Not dawn, not even close to dawn, but the suggestion of the idea of dawn, the very earliest, almost imperceptible precursor of a lightening that is still hours away. The stars in the east are not dimmed, not yet, but the sky between them has a quality, a depth, that is almost imperceptibly less absolute than the west. The night is still very long. You have many hours yet. Hours of dark and rocking, and the river, and the slow descending valley, and the deep, warm, complete rest that you are already in, that you have been in, that you will stay in. Sleep through the whole of it. Sleep through the night, through the descending valley, through the slow widening of the river, through the gradual warming of the lower slopes. Sleep through all of it, deeply and fully and completely, resting every part of you that needs to be rested. You have done so well today. You have carried so much. And now you are here in the warm carriage on the mountain train, going gently down through the beautiful dark, and all of it is going to be fine. And you are deeply, completely, perfectly at rest. The train moves on. The river moves on beside it. The mountains slowly begin to step back. The valley broadens. The dark is warm and complete. You sleep. Hours have passed, or something like hours, something that has the feel of hours without the weight of them. Time moving the way it moves in sleep, loosely, without the tick of minutes, without the counting of seconds. Simply the long, soft, uninterrupted flow of a night that is going well and does not need to be measured. The train is in the lower valley now. The mountains are still visible, but they are further away, standing back from the track by a good distance, their shapes large and dark on the horizon rather than pressing in close on either side. Between the train and the mountains, there are fields again, and hedgerows, and the occasional low shape of a farmhouse sleeping in the dark, with all its windows black. The land here has a softness that the high mountain did not have. It is older agricultural land, long worked and long rested, shaped by generations of hands and seasons into its current form. The fields have the irregular outlines of land that was divided up long ago, without straight lines or geometry, simply following the natural contours, the low rises and the slow hollows of the valley floor. It is very quiet, very still, even quieter in a way than the high pass, because here the quiet is a human quiet as well as a natural one. The people are sleeping. The animals are sleeping. The whole long valley is asleep under its dark sky, and the train is the only moving thing in it, sliding through the fields and the hedgerows, and the dark with its low, warm hum. You are still resting deeply. Your body has not moved in a long time. Your breath is very even, very slow, rising and falling with the same unhurried rhythm it has held throughout this long, quiet night. You are at ease in your own stillness. The seat has become part of you, or you have become part of it. The boundary between the body and the thing that supports it has softened, so that there is only the warmth, only the gentle pressure, only the rocking that runs through everything. A dog barks once, somewhere in the dark, a farmhouse dog woken by something, saying its brief word into the night. Then silence again. The bark falls into the silence, and the silence closes over it without a trace. You did not really hear it, or you heard it from very far away, the way sounds come in when the mind is almost entirely gone, like a stone dropped into a very deep and very still well, the sound of it dropping down and finding no echo, finding only depth. Down and down and down, you are resting. The train moves through the valley. The farmhouses sleep. The fields breathe their slow, damp, dark breath. The river, somewhere nearby, is broad and slow and barely audible, a whisper of water moving through the night. Everything is slow. Everything is quiet. Everything is right. Your breath. In, out, very slow, very soft. The train rocks you. The night holds you. The long, broad, sleeping valley receives you. Rest. The sky to the east is still dark. The stars are still bright. The mountains behind you, the ones you came through, are invisible now, lost in the distance. But their presence is still with you, the memory of them, the feeling of them, the enormous patience of the mountains, the cold and the clean and the still. You carry that with you even in the deep rest. The mountains have given you something tonight. Their patience, perhaps. Their willingness to simply stand in the dark without needing anything to be different than it is. Their quality of having endured and continuing to endure without drama, without complaint, without urgency. You can have some of that. You can take it with you into whatever tomorrow holds. That mountain patience, that mountain stillness, that mountain quality of simply being what you are in whatever conditions, without needing the conditions to change before you can be at peace. But that is tomorrow. That is for the waking self to consider when the waking self is ready. Right now, the sleeping self needs nothing. The sleeping self is already at peace. The sleeping self is the mountain tonight, still and dark, and resting in the good dark of a long, quiet night. The train moves on. The valley receives it, field by field, hedge by hedge, farmhouse by farmhouse, each sleeping in the dark without knowing the train is passing, without needing to know. You are passing through, and it is enough. You are moving through the night, and you are resting, and the world is quiet, and the sky is full of stars. That is everything. That is more than enough. Breathe in and out. The train moves on. You rest. The darkness is beginning its longest, deepest hour. The hour before any thought of dawn. The hour when the night has been fully itself for long enough that it has settled into its own deep quiet, the hour when sleepers sleep most deeply and dreamers dream most softly. This is the still center of the night. You are in it. The train moves through it as through the still center of a lake, causing only the smallest ripple, meeting no resistance, leaving no trace. The hum is very low now, or you have gone so far down that the hum is at the surface, far above you, and what you feel is only its echo, a warmth in the chest, a faint vibration in the bones that means you are being carried, you are safe, all is well, all is well, all is very, very well. The valley sleeps, the mountains breathe, the river moves, the train rocks. The night continues as night does, without pause, without urgency, moving toward morning at its own deliberate pace. And you rest in the middle of it all, in the warm, still center, breathing very slowly, perfectly at ease, every part of you at rest. The window, the dark, the mountains very far now, but still there. The river, the fields, the sky full of stars, and you warm, still, breathing, resting, completely, perfectly, at rest. The train moves on. The night is long. The night is good. You are sleeping. You are deeply, truly, completely sleeping. And everything is exactly as it should be. Breathe, rest, sleep. The train moves on through the long, good dark, and you are in it, and you are at rest. And the night holds you, and the world is quiet, and you are going deeper still, deeper and deeper into the warm and perfect stillness that is sleep. The mountains are behind you. The valley is long and wide. The river runs beside you. Stars are very many, and you are sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. Let the train carry you. Let the night hold you. Let the breath move on its own. You are deeply asleep. You are resting completely. The journey continues. The dark is warm. The night is long. And you are exactly where you need to be. Safe, warm, still, asleep. The train moves on. Let us go a little deeper now. Let the words come more slowly. Let each one settle like a leaf falling onto still water, making the smallest of ripples, and then going still. You are very deeply rested, more rested than you were an hour ago, more rested than you were at the beginning of this journey, when the city lights were still moving past the window, and the carriage was still settling around you. That was a long time ago now. The city is so far behind you that it has ceased to be a real place and has become something more like a memory of a dream. The office buildings, with their pale lit windows, the signal lights blinking red and green in the dark, the rivers of headlights moving along the wide roads. All of it is very far away, dissolving in the distance, losing its edges, the way things lose their edges when you look at them through water. You do not need to think about the city tonight. You do not need to think about anything tonight. The thinking mind has grown quiet, the way the land grew quiet as the train moved away from the city. One light at a time, one voice at a time, one urgency at a time, until there was nothing left but the dark and the quiet and the mountains. Your mind is like the high mountain valley now, wide, still, very dark. The thoughts that pass through it are like the train itself, moving through without stopping, taking nothing and leaving nothing, simply passing through the beautiful, patient dark. Let them pass. Let everything pass. You are not the thoughts. You are the valley. You are the still, wide, patient thing that the thoughts move through. The thing that was here before the thoughts arrived and will be here after they have gone on their way. You are the valley. You are the dark. You are the river. You are the breath, moving in and out of a resting body in a warm carriage in the middle of a long, quiet night. Breathe in and out and be the valley. The train is moving through a long, flat section of the lower valley now. The track is straight, and the fields on either side are wide, and the motion of the carriage is very smooth, the rocking reduced to almost nothing, just the faintest lateral whisper of movement, just the subtlest reminder that you are not standing still. It is not unpleasant to be almost still. It is something very close to the feeling of being in a bed. The warmth is the same. The enclosure is the same. The sense of being held in a small, safe space while the world goes on outside is the same. The window is dark. The fields are dark. The sky above the fields is the deep, rich dark of an unclouded night far from any city, the kind of dark that holds its stars generously, as if they have nothing to hide. You have been watching the stars in your soft and half-sleeping way for some time now, not staring at them, not counting them or naming them, just being aware of them, the way you are aware of a fire in a fireplace when you are sitting in a warm room as a background presence, a warmth of light that exists at the edge of attention and does not demand more than that. The stars are very old, older than the mountains, older than the river, older than the first creature that drew breath on the surface of this earth. They have been burning in the dark for an almost unimaginable length of time, and they will go on burning long after everything you know has changed beyond recognition. They are patient in a way that makes the mountains seem young. And yet they are there every clear night for anyone who looks up, for the farmer sleeping in the dark farmhouse, for the heron standing at the edge of its still pond, for you in your warm carriage being carried through the valley by the slow train. They are there for you. They have always been there. You have always been under them from the first night of your life to this one, always moving beneath this same vast scatter of patient light. There is something in that thought that is very calming. The continuity of it. The way the stars connect every night you have ever lived into one long, unbroken thread. You have slept under these stars before. You will sleep under them again. And between the sleeping, the stars are always there, holding the thread, keeping the continuity, burning their patient, ancient light. Let that continuity hold you now. Let the knowledge of it run through you like warm water, from the top of your head down through your shoulders and your chest and your belly and your legs, and out through the soles of your feet, a warm and continuous flow, connecting you to every night you have ever rested, every sleep you have ever had, every morning you have ever woken into. You know how to sleep. You have always known. Your body has been doing it your whole life, and it knows the way the river knows the valley, the way the train knows the track. Let it lead. Let the body lead. Let the breath lead. Follow the breath down, down, very gently, into the warm, dark, restful deep. A small animal is moving through the grass at the edge of a field, somewhere outside the window. You cannot see it, and you cannot hear it over the train, but it is there, small and intent, going about its night business, with the quiet confidence of something that belongs completely to the world it moves through. A mouse, perhaps, threading its way through the tall stems. A hedgehog moving along the base of a hedgerow, stopping and starting, following its own slow map of the night. A rabbit sitting very still in the middle of a field, its ears up, listening, and then relaxing, ears folding, and going back to whatever rabbits do in the dark. Small lives, quiet lives, lives that are mostly movement and rest, and the simple work of being alive. They do not carry tomorrow with them. They do not review today. They are entirely in this moment, this dark field, this cool air, this particular patch of ground with its particular smells and sounds. You can learn from that. You do not need to be a mouse to learn from the mouse. You do not need to be a rabbit to learn from the rabbit. You only need to let go, as they let go, of everything that is not this moment, this carriage, this breath, this warm dark, this rocking. Just this, just the breath, just the warmth, just the rocking, just the dark outside and the stars and the sleeping fields and the slow, certain progress of the train through the long, good night. Just this. Breathe in and out. Just this. The river has widened considerably in the lower valley. You can hear it more clearly now, a broader, more substantial sound, the sound of a lot of water moving with measured certainty over a wide, shallow bed. It is no longer the quick, bright sound of a mountain stream. It has become something more deliberate, more considered, a low and continuous sound that has the quality of something that has been doing exactly this for a very, very long time. The river at this stage of its journey has collected all the small streams and tributaries that joined it from the mountainsides above, every small rivulet that formed from snowmelt in the high passes, every spring that seeped from rock on the upper slopes, every rain shower that fell on the high meadows and found its way downward. All of it has joined the river, and the river carries all of it now in its wide and unhurried course through the valley. You are like that river too. You carry a great deal. The accumulated streams of all your days, all your experiences, all the things that have joined your life from many different directions and become part of the whole. It is a lot to carry, but the river does not struggle with it. The river is wide enough and deep enough and steady enough to carry all of it without strain, simply by moving forward one moment at a time down the long slope toward the sea. You are wide enough. You are deep enough. You are steady enough. But tonight, you are also resting. The river rests too, in its way, in the long, slow stretches where the current barely moves, where the water finds a wide, flat bed and spreads out and slows, and almost seems to stop, catching the sky in its surface, holding it perfectly, resting in the reflection of the stars. You are in that wide, slow stretch right now. The current barely moves. The surface is still. The stars are in you, reflected perfectly, each one a small, bright point in the dark water of your resting mind. Let the stars be in you. Let the dark water hold them. Let the river be wide and slow and utterly at rest. Breathe. Rest. The river moves on, slow and wide and unhurried, and you rest in it, and the stars are in it, and the night is long and good. The carriage is very warm. The warmth comes from the seat, from the carpet, from the walls, from the small, intimate space of a train carriage that has been occupied by passengers for many hours and has taken on their warmth, held it, become a kind of small, moving room of accumulated human warmth. It is the warmth of somewhere that has been lived in, not cold and new and untested, but warm and used and familiar. The kind of warmth that says, you are not the first person to sit here and need rest. Many people have sat in this seat before you, in carriages like this one, on journeys like this one, at hours like this one. They have rested here, and their rest has left something, some residue of ease, some quality of the space that knows what rest is and welcomes it. You are welcome here, in this warm, rocking carriage, on this long night journey. You are not an intrusion. You are not out of place. You belong here, exactly as much as anyone who has ever traveled through the night seeking rest. You are one of a long, long line of night travelers, and the train knows how to carry you, and the night knows how to hold you, and the warmth of the carriage knows how to receive you. Let yourself be received. Let yourself be held. Let yourself be carried, warm and resting, through the beautiful dark. You deserve this rest. You have done enough. You are enough. You can stop now the quiet background effort of being and doing and managing and holding. You can set it all down in this warm carriage and let the train carry it for you while you sleep. The train carries everything tonight. Your tiredness, your questions, your plans and your worries and the small, persistent concerns that follow you through the day like shadows. The train carries all of it, without effort, without complaint, the way the river carries the water from the mountains, simply by moving forward through the dark. You carry nothing tonight. You are weightless. You are warm. You are resting. Breathe in and feel the warmth enter you, that carriage warmth, that river warmth, that mountain warmth that has been accumulating all night in your chest and your bones. Breathe out and let everything that is not warmth leave you softly, without forcing it. The way mist leaves a valley when the sun finds it, gently, gradually, naturally. In, warm, out, light, in, warm, out, light, and down deeper into the warmest, lightest place of all. The train will arrive eventually at its destination. Not tonight. Tonight is still long and dark and good. But there is a destination, somewhere ahead in the dark, a platform and a city and a morning that will come in its own time. But that is not now. That is a different thing entirely, belonging to a different part of you, a part that is resting now and will be ready when it is needed. For now, there is only the train and the night and the valley and the slow river and the stars. The stars are beginning their own long, slow turn toward morning, as they always do, as the earth carries them along its faithful course. But they are not there yet. They are still high and bright and many, scattered across the full width of the sky, each one steady and patient in its own particular place. You have traveled a long way under these stars tonight. From the city, with its amber glow and its pressed-together lights, through the suburbs and the fields, across the river bridge, through the foothills, up through the mountain valley, past the high lake and the bare rock and the snow, over the high pass, with its wide view of range after range disappearing into the dark, and down again through the descending valley, through the lower mountains and the broad-leaved forest and the wide river and the flat, sleeping fields. A long way, a beautiful way, a way made of darkness and stone and water and the patient, breathing world. And through all of it, you have been resting. Slowly, gradually, completely. More rested with each passing mile, more deeply at ease with each slow curve of the track, each gentle rock of the carriage, each breath that has moved through you and left you lighter than before. You are very, very rested now, as rested as the mountains, as still as the high lake on a windless night, as deep and quiet and continuous as the river. There is nothing left to do but breathe and rest, and let the train carry you forward through the long, beautiful dark. Breathe in, slow, and out, long. The carriage rocks, the hum is in your chest. The night is wide and full of stars. The world is asleep around you, and you are asleep within it, deeply, completely at rest. The last thing before the deep goes deeper still. A very simple thing, a very quiet thing. Notice the breath, just the breath, nothing else. The way it enters, cool and gentle, through the nose. The way it moves down, finding the lungs, filling them slowly from the bottom up, the belly first, then the chest, then the very top, a full and gentle filling. And then the pause, the small, still moment at the top of the breath, when everything is full and nothing is moving. The pause between the in and the out. A very short pause, a moment of perfect fullness. And then the out breath, long and easy and warm. The warmth of the body in it as it leaves, warmer than when it came in. moving out through the nose or softly through parted lips, long and slow and completely unhurried. And then the pause at the bottom, the small, still moment when everything is empty and nothing is moving. The pause between the out and the in, very short, very still, a moment of perfect emptiness. And then the in-breath comes again on its own without any asking. In, pause, out, pause, in, pause, out, pause. Over and over, exactly the same, exactly as it has been your whole life, exactly as it will go on being. This simple, perfect, unconscious rhythm that is the body's most fundamental expression of being alive. You do not need to do anything with the breath. You do not need to control it or direct it or improve it. It knows what to do. It has always known. Just let it move and follow it with the softest, most distant part of your attention. And let that attention sink with each out breath, deeper and deeper, into the quiet place where the breath is the only thing, and the only thing is rest. In and out. The train moves on. The night is good. You are going deeper, deeper, deeper into the warm, still, perfect dark of deep and restful sleep. The mountains are behind you, patient and enormous and still. The river runs beside you, cold and clean and continuous. The stars are above you, many and steady and very far. And you are here in the warm carriage in the beautiful night, breathing very slowly, resting completely, sleeping deeply. All is well. All is very well. All is exactly as it should be. Sleep now. Sleep. The train moves on through the long, good dark, and you sleep, and the night holds you, and the world breathes around you, and the stars turn very slowly in their ancient courses, and the river runs, and the mountains stand, and you sleep, you sleep, you sleep. There is a particular quality to the dark at this hour that is different from the dark of any other time. It is not the dark of early evening, which still carries the memory of the day in it, the fading warmth, the last reluctance of the light. It is not the dark of very late night, which has a certain edge of approach, the faintest presuggestion of the morning that will come. This is the dark of the middle, the deep and settled dark of the hours when the night has fully arrived and fully established itself and is in no hurry to end. This dark is complete. It is not waiting for anything. It is not building toward anything. It simply is entirely, all the way to every horizon, from the valley floor to the star-scattered sky above. It is the most rested dark there is, the dark of something that has found its fullness and rests in it without striving. You are in that dark. You are made of it in a way, the way sleep makes you part of the dark, the way closing your eyes and letting go makes you continuous with the night instead of separate from it. You are not watching the dark through a window anymore. You are in it. You are part of it. Your slow breath moves in and out of it. Your heartbeat marks time within it. Your heavy, resting body lies in it, the way a stone lies in a riverbed, surrounded by the current, undisturbed by it, settled and still and at home. The train is in the dark too, moving through it, carrying its small cargo of sleeping passengers through the enormous, patient dark of the valley at this deepest hour. You are not the only one sleeping in this carriage. The whole world around you is asleep. The farmers in their dark houses, the animals in their fields and their burrows and their nests, the trees in their long, slow, rooted sleep, the river in its wide, slow, almost sleeping course across the flat valley floor, the mountains in their immense, still, stone sleep that has lasted longer than anything alive can remember. Everything is sleeping. The whole world is asleep, and you are asleep within it, held by the sleeping world, part of the great, peaceful, breathing rest of everything. There is nowhere else to be. There is nothing else to do. There is only this deep and rested dark, this gentle rocking, this slow breath, this warm and complete surrender to the good and patient night. Let yourself be nowhere. Let yourself be nothing but the breath and the warmth and the dark. In, out, in, out. The train rocks you. The dark holds you. The night breathes around you. You sleep. The sound of the train at this hour is the most familiar sound in the world. You have been hearing it for so long now, this low, steady, multi-textured hum, that it has ceased to be something you hear and has become something you simply are, the way you are the warmth of the carriage and the gentle rock and the slow breath. It is in your chest, that sound, not as a vibration you can name and locate, but as a background hum of the whole body, a resonance, the way a cello note, played long and low, fills the room not just with sound, but with a quality of air, with a fullness, with something that is more felt than heard. The train hums. You hum quietly inside yourself with the warmth and the rest and the long, slow journey through the dark. A single note held for a very long time, unwavering, continuous, the note of a good, long, restful night. Everything has been given over now. The last small resistances, the last small holdings on, the last thin threads of waking thought that were still trailing in the air above you. They have let go too, one by one, drifting up and away like smoke from a fire that has burned down to warm embers. What remains is only the essential: the breath, the warmth, the dark, the rocking, the hum, the awareness, very thin and very soft, that you are here, that you are resting, that all is well. That thin, soft awareness is enough. It is more than enough. It is the last thing, the thinnest thread between you and the complete dark of dreamless sleep. And it is fraying now, very gently, very willingly, coming apart at its own pace, without any forcing. Let it fray. Let the last thread go. Let the awareness thin to nothing, the way mist thins to nothing in the morning air, not disappearing, but becoming part of something larger, something that does not need to be named or held. In, out, the thread frays and frays and frays, and you are sleeping, completely, deeply. The train moves on through the night. The dark is warm and complete. You are sleeping. The valley is very long. It goes on for many miles yet. This wide, flat, sleeping valley, with its river and its fields, and its dark sky and its patient stars. The train will travel the length of it before the night is done. And even then there will be more, another landscape, another dark, another stretch of moving through the world in warmth and rest. But you do not need to travel that length with your attention. Your attention has gone somewhere else now, gone down into the deep, into the warm and resting body, into the slow and wordless place where sleep finally takes everything, and there is nothing left to watch or name or count. Only the breath remains, and even that is unconscious now, moving on its own, the body doing its most fundamental work without any oversight, any assistance, any watching. In, out, the body breathes. The train rocks. The night holds. And you are gone from all of it in the way that sleep takes you completely and without warning, the way the tunnel took the window all at once, everything becoming dark, and the dark being warm, and the warmth being rest, and the rest being complete. You are in the tunnel now, the long, warm, interior tunnel of deep sleep. There is nothing to see here. There is nothing to hear but the very distant hum of the train, muffled and warm, felt more than heard. There is nothing to do, nothing to hold, nothing to carry, just the dark, just the warm, just the breath, just the rest. Go deeper into it. There is room. The tunnel goes on. The dark goes on. The rest goes on as long as you need it, as deep as you need it, as complete and perfect and unhurried as only the deepest sleep can be. Rest, rest deeply, rest completely. The train carries you. The night holds you. The dark receives you, and you sleep. There is a word for what you are doing right now. The old word, the one that came before the clinical words, before the measurements and the stages and the science of it. The old word is simply rest, and that is what you are doing, resting. In the oldest, most complete sense of the word, the body is resting, the mind is resting, the heart, in both its meanings, the organ and the seat of feeling, is resting. Everything that has been in motion all day, everything that has been processing and responding and carrying and working and feeling, all of it is resting now, in the warm carriage, on the long night train, in the deep valley, under the patient stars. Rest is not nothing. Rest is not the absence of something. Rest is its own full and positive thing, as real and as valuable as any action, any achievement, any waking moment. The rest you are taking right now is doing something. It is repairing and restoring and renewing and returning you slowly to the self that will wake in the morning with its full capacity for the day. You are being restored right now, in the dark, in the warmth, in the rocking, being made whole again, quietly and completely, by the simple act of letting go and allowing the night to do its work. The night knows how to do this. It has been doing it for every living thing since the beginning of living things. The restoration of the dark, the renewal of the rest, the return of the breath to its full, easy, unconscious rhythm, the softening of every muscle that has been held too long, the clearing of every thought that has been circling too long. All of it done by the night for you while you simply allow it. Allow it. You are allowing it. You have been allowing it for a long time now, and it is working. You can feel it in the heaviness of the body, in the ease of the breath, in the quiet of the mind. It is working gently and continuously and very well. The night is doing its work. The train carries you through it, and you are resting completely in the good and patient dark. The mountains are very far behind you now, miles and miles of night behind you, holding the memory of their shapes in the dark. Their peaks still lit by stars. Their valleys still breathing that cool, clean pine and river air. The lake still perfectly still, reflecting the sky. They will be there in the morning. You could see them, perhaps, from a window on the other side of the train when the light comes. Gray and white and enormous against a pale sky, their outlines sharp in the cold morning air. But that is the morning. The morning is a long time away. The morning belongs to a version of you that has slept deeply and fully and will be ready for it when it comes. That version of you is being assembled right now, in the dark, out of rest and breath, and the long, slow work of the sleeping body. You are becoming the morning you, quietly, unconsciously, without effort. But right now, you are still the night you, the sleeping, resting, warm, and deeply held night you. And the night is long, and the rest is deep, and there is nothing to hurry toward. Stay here. Stay in the deep. Breathe slowly. Rest completely. The train moves on. The dark is warm. The night is long and good and full of rest. And you are sleeping in the middle of it, small and warm and held, moving through the beautiful dark, going deeper with every breath, resting more completely with every passing mile, giving yourself entirely to the most natural and the most restorative thing there is. Sleep. Breathe. Rest. The night holds you. The train carries you. The mountains stand behind you, patient and vast. The valley receives you, wide and dark and still. The river runs beside you, cold and clean and continuous. The stars are above you, very many and very still. And you are sleeping, and you are resting, and you are deeply, completely, perfectly well. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep for as long as you need. The train will carry you. The night will hold you. Everything is exactly as it should be. Breathe and rest and sleep. The train moves on through the long, good, beautiful dark, and you are in it, and you are at rest, and the night is yours, completely, perfectly yours. Sleep. One more breath. One more slow, easy, unhurried breath, just to settle a little deeper into this perfect rest. In through the nose. The air is warm and faintly carries that mountain quality even now, even here in the lower valley, as if the mountains have given the whole night something of themselves, a cleanness, a clarity, a quality of having come from somewhere very high and very still. Hold it for just a moment, not effortfully, just the natural, small pause at the top of the breath, the moment of fullness before the release, and then out, long and slow and warm, everything softening with it, the shoulders dropping one more fraction, the jaw loosening one more small degree, space behind the eyes growing 1 degree darker, 1 degree quieter, 1 degree more still. And then the in-breath comes again, on its own, without any asking, as it always has, as it always will, the most faithful and the most effortless companion you have. You do not need to do anything more. The breath will continue on its own. The train will continue on its own. The night will continue on its own. Everything that needs to happen is happening, without any help from you, and all you need to do is let it happen, and rest, and be carried, and sleep. The train moves on. The river runs. The mountains stand. The stars turn very slowly in the great dark above. And you are here in the warm carriage, in the good night, in the long and restful dark, breathing slowly, resting deeply, sleeping completely. All is well. All is very well. Sleep now. Sleep. The dark outside the window is the same dark it has been for hours now. And it is a good dark, a known dark, a dark that has become familiar and safe in the way the carriage itself has become familiar and safe. You know this dark now. You have traveled through it for long enough that it is no longer the dark of uncertainty or strangeness, but the dark of home, the dark of a place where you have been long enough to belong to it, and it to you. The train knows this dark too. It moves through it without hesitation, without surprise, with the quiet confidence of something that has made this journey many times and knows every curve, every grade, every bridge, every place where the valley opens, and every place where the mountains close in again. You are in good hands, the best hands, the hands of the night itself, which knows how to hold sleepers, which has been holding sleepers since the beginning, which will go on holding them long after this particular night is done. Rest in those hands. Breathe in those hands. Sleep in those hands. They are very steady. They are very warm. They will not let you go. The train moves on through the long, dark, beautiful valley, and the night holds you, and the stars are very many and very still, and the river runs cold and clean and continuous, and the mountains stand enormous and patient in the dark behind you, and everything is as it should be, and you are sleeping deeply and completely, and without any reservation at all, in the warm carriage, on the long night train, in the good and faithful dark. Sleep, sleep, sleep.